Hello everybody, it's me, it is your favorite cybernetic skull, or at the very least the cult associated with said cybernetic skull. I didn't ever put too much thought into whether or not I'm the skull or if I'm the actual cult. Doesn't matter at this point, it's just semantics, who cares? Yeah, hi, so this is just a channel update video, just to kind of talk about how things have been going, what I've been up to, keeping you abreast of some video production stuff I've been working on. I want to talk about a brand new project that I've been working on that I'm very excited to share with everybody. And I do want to wrap it up with the community Q&A that very happy to see the amount of questions I got from it. Surprised, actually, considering the size of the channel that I run. I'm very much a nobody on YouTube, but it's been really nice to have people actually ask me questions that I'm looking forward to answering, so thank you very much for that. The background footage that you're watching is from Red Dead Redemption 2, although I think most of you already know that. I've been playing the hell out of the game the last couple of months. I've been engrossed in it. It has been phenomenal. Yeah, if you haven't played it, you really need to do yourself a favor and check it out. I don't know if the game is perfect, but I think it's about as close to perfect as a game can be. And no, I don't think that the game is outdated in its design whatsoever. No, the game, it's just so good. I only put, I don't know, 143 hours into it and only got 89% completion, and I just wrapped it up last night, so it's probably the closest that you can get to about as cinematic of an experience as a video game can give you. It's pure Kino, and I have nothing but praise to give to it. It is phenomenal. But we're not here to talk about cowboys and gunslinging. No, we're here to talk about channel update. You know, where have I been? What have I been doing? Well, short answer is I was originally going to take the summer off to just sit around and play video games. I built a new computer. It was a very long time coming, very necessary, not only to just keep up with games that are coming out, but actually to make videos. So just for comparison, the new computer has an i7-127K, 12th generation Intel CPU. The computer that I had prior to building this one, just a teensy upgrade because I was running an i5-3570K. You know, literally jumping from a 3rd generation processor to a 12th generation processor. That processor was already outdated when I originally built my old computer. And the only reason I was able to make videos is because I had it overclocking, and even then, it struggled. So finally managed to knock that off the bucket list, and I'm able to produce, you know, higher quality content a little more efficiently. And on that note, I actually also switched editing programs. So I switched from using Vegas to this video, and the new project I've worked on both use DaVinci Resolve. And oh my god, it is such a sweet program to use. I had to relearn how to do some stuff, but man, is it nice to use something that's, well, one, doesn't cost an arm and a leg in terms of a subscription service, and two, is there's actually like a future for the program, whereas I like Vegas, but it's never going to give any serious competition to Premiere, where I feel that DaVinci Resolve can. So it's I liken DaVinci Resolve to Premiere the same way I do Affinity Photo to Photoshop, whereas it's very similar. It's easy to pick it up if you already know the base program, and it is way more consumer friendly, so I will always advocate for using alternatives to Adobe. But yeah, that's been basically that. I built a new computer, I've been learning new software, but originally the plan was that I wasn't going to work on any videos whatsoever. I was just going to take the summer off, enjoy Red Dead Redemption, enjoy some other video games, just to kind of play around with the new rig. But I don't know, I felt like I have things that I want to talk about, so I've gone back and I've made a few videos. Not counting this one. But yeah, I had some ideas for videos, and I'm slowly working on them. Emphasis slowly. I do have a video I'm working on that I want to release for Halloween. Realistically speaking, as much as I want to target October 31st, don't be surprised if it drops in November, because, well, I'm actually collaborating with a few people on this video, and so I'm very excited to see how that all turns out. I've done some collaborations before, but I'll talk more about that in the Q&A. But it's going to be an interesting project because it's the first time I'm kind of hosting a collaboration rather than contributing to other people. And I have all the ducks in the row. It's all being worked on. If everything goes well, it should release for Halloween, but I don't ever hold myself to any deadlines specifically because you never know what could happen. So really, that's the gist of it. Wanted to take the summer off, had a few ideas, already put one video out, and I'm working on the big Halloween video, especially because I missed last year. So keep an eye out for that. I am going to update you all on social media, as I typically do. So yeah, just slowly getting back into making more YouTube videos after, you know, just enjoying Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, in the meantime, thank you very much for all the support. It's been really nice to see, you know, I haven't taken that much longer of a break than I usually do, but it's nice to see continual support, even when you take a couple of months off to just kind of do your own thing or to decompress from YouTube, which, you know, I do somewhat frequently. I'm just one person making videos for fun, so I can't churn things out as quickly as I get the ideas in my head. So it's really nice to see the support for not only when I do put videos out, but also for when I'm not putting videos out. It's very meaningful, and I'm very grateful, you know. So thank you very much for all of the subs and the support. You know, it does 2,300 subs and change doesn't seem like a lot, but I am so grateful for everyone who stuck with me. It means so much, especially considering, one, how saturated the gaming space is on YouTube, two, how niche the games I talk about are, and, you know, fully recognizing I talk about games that most people, I would wager, even like my own friends, they don't know what they are. And three, just considering my size, I'm not a big shot player at all. But yeah, so I did mention I have a new video series I'm working on. That video is actually going to release tomorrow. So keep an eye out on the channel because I have some new content coming your way. But it's a bit different than what I usually do. So originally, I was going to put the video up on my second channel. Yeah, that's right. I have a second channel. And I bet none of you even knew that it existed. Which is totally fair. I don't use it. Originally, I was going to use it as a repository for archival footage. And I did have a bunch of videos put up there, but then I took them down because I realized for me, it's a bit of a hassle to just pull them off of YouTube anytime I need it when I have external hard drives that I can store them on. Even more so now that I've built a new computer and have even more storage. But then it kind of shifted and became a repository for like extra stuff. So I have the footage of the Book of Secrets at the end of Shadow Man on there. I have 2 of the Sabbat endings from the Clan Quest mod on there, and those are like the most popular things that I posted. But just things that don't fit on the main channel, which is also why I moved my really shitty gag shitpost videos over there that really don't fit the tone of my main channel. And that's also why originally this new video I was going to put on the secondary channel, but thinking about it, had a couple of conversations about it, and considering that it's a very high effort video, even if it's a bit different from what I normally do, I'm going to give it a shot and put it on the main channel. And that being said, I would really appreciate it if you watch it to really let me know what you think about it, because if it's not something that is super interesting for my audience, I'll probably continue making it because that's my ethos. I just make whatever I want, and I'll just move it over to the secondary channel. But if you like it and it resonates and, you know, people come to enjoy the content and it's going to help my channel growth, then yeah, I'll keep it on the main channel. So, alright, so let's actually talk about what this new video is. So, it is my attempt at doing an after action report. If you're a fan of Paradox Grand Strategy games, then you probably already know what after action reports are. They're pretty popular in the community. If you are not familiar with them, basically what they are narrative write-ups about the events that happen in a particular run. So the cool thing about Grand Strategy games in general, but Paradoxes in particular, is that there's a lot of things that can go a whole bunch of different ways. And watching these developments is one of the most interesting parts of the game. So I've always been interested in Paradox Grand Strategy games. I absolutely adore Crusader Kings. So what I decided was I want to do, or at least I want to try making an AAR. So I booted up Crusader Kings 3, played a little bit, recorded footage, and I put together a video that I hope is entertaining and is humorous and is fun to watch, because I actually had a lot of fun putting it together. It's very different from what I typically do, which is why I had so much fun with it, but I also don't think that I'm a particularly funny person, so doing things that are amusing or comedic are really out of my wheelhouse. So I did also want to try and challenge myself a little bit by trying to make something that's at least amusing. Which is going back to what I said before. That's why it's really important for you guys to, you know, let me know if you like it, let me know if you dislike it, but please comment on it. Let me know if you want to see more of it or not. And then I'll know to sequester it or just to keep it in with my mainline stuff. This isn't a change in direction or anything like that. I am still going to be doing reviews. I'm still going to be doing You Should Plays. I want to do more editorials / video essays, but I feel like I need a really, really good idea to sit down and actually work on one of those. And I feel that other people like Soul Porpoise or Indigo Gaming are just much smarter than I am when it comes to disseminating games. So but I do want to work on more of those. So this isn't a departure from my usual content or anything like that. It's just something different. I want to try something new. But that's the new video. So like I said, that's going to be up live tomorrow, the day after this video comes up. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I had a lot of fun putting it together, and I thought it was a great way to learn how to do, or how to use DaVinci Resolve, because I had to do a lot of things there that I normally kind of do a little more sparingly, but it was a good way to dive into the program. So there's at least that. I got some technical expertise out of it. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of everything going on with me. I'm not going away, but, you know, I did want to take a little bit of time for myself. And I came up with what I hope is going to be a very entertaining and fun video for you to watch. So, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening to the channel update. And I'm going to end this off with what I hope a lot of you have been looking forward to, but my very first AMA. Let's get on with that, shall we? What's your main goal on YouTube? Honestly, it's just to make videos and talk about video games. That's all it ever was, and that's all I kind of want my channel to be. It's a hobby, ultimately. I just do this for fun, and yeah, I would like to grow my channel. I'd like to have a lot of people come and watch my content. I'd love to be able to devote more time into pumping out content regularly, but I feel that those aren't my goals as much as I'd like to see them happen. Ultimately, my goal is just to keep making videos about things that I want to talk about, and then just keep entertaining people or informing them or giving my audience some kind of positive thing to get out of my content. 10,000 subs when? As soon as you get you and all of your friends and all of their friends and their aunts and uncles and mothers and fathers to sub to my channel, that would help. I don't know. Whenever YouTube decides to show my content to enough people and convince them to press the subscribe button, Your guess is as good as mine otherwise. Hopefully soon. Hopefully very soon. How do you see your future? Is it in vintage game coverage? Would you mix modern releases, or have you lost all faith? Personally, I really like your vintage media coverage, or anything obscure. It might seem like a lot of people are doing the vintage thing lately, but I think I've seen Vampire the Masquerade covered 4 times by 4 different people at this point. For some reason, I don't get bored. Well, yeah, first of all, thanks for watching. I'm happy that you enjoyed my Vampire the Masquerade videos. How do I see my future? It's basically doing the same thing that I've been doing up until this point. I don't really care about the age of the games I cover. I just kind of talk about whatever I want to talk about. Whether it's a retro game that I know very well, or if it's an indie game I just discovered. And I have actually mixed some modern releases with my stuff. Just recently, I got a key for the release of Old World. The publisher emailed me an advance key when they were releasing it on Steam, so I checked that out. My reviews of Vampire and the 2018 Call of Cthulhu game were both around the time of release. I was given keys for those as well. So I do cover the occasional game, but any modern games that I would cover would need to be things that I am very interested in. And I find that there are very few new releases that I'm interested in, especially if they're AAA games. That's not to say I don't get excited for new games. I obviously have plenty of them on my wish lists, but it's not what I generally go for. Or if I play a new release, it's usually going to be a few years after it's been released, when I pick it up on a discount. So, I don't know, mix and match when I have the opportunity, but generally speaking, I don't want to also be caught in the rat race of everybody scrambling to get their video out as soon as a game is released and be caught up in that mess. I just want to keep talking about what I want when I want, and it's way less stressful for me. How effective would a garlic farming business be in the fight against an evil vampire lord? Alright, for context, this is one of the players in my Curse of Strahd campaign that's asking. I don't know, try it and find out. Let's see how clever you are. Top 5 favorite movies. Okay, Seven Samurai, Empire Strikes Back, Lethal Weapon 2, Big Trouble in Little China, and the 5th one. Ooh, this is a good one. This is tough. Probably Hard Boiled. Man, that movie is so good. Obviously, this is my top 5. I love all of these movies, but, like, man, Hard Boiled is just... that final sequence in the hospital, it just doesn't get better than that. Will you start a Discord server? Probably not. And it's not for any reason like I just don't want to talk to people or avoid them, but I'll be honest, I'm already in so many Discord servers, and I don't pay attention to any of them. I still use Discord the same way I used MSN Messenger back in the day, as in, it's mostly for direct messages. All of my communication are done through DMs with friends, and the only exception for that is my weekly Dungeons & Dragons game. In which case, we just pop onto the group chat. If I'm playing games, it's all direct. And I feel that if I made a Discord server, for one, it'd be kind of tricky to convince people to use it. But then I would also be in charge of something that I feel I would very easily just neglect. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Maybe in the distant future, but I will cross that bridge when I get there much later. Who's the one huge YouTuber you would love to collaborate with the most? And coming back to reality, what are some YouTubers from your niche you can actually consider collaborating with? Have a great day, CyberSkull. Thank you, Anon. I hope you have a great day too. So actually, I already had the chance to collaborate from some YouTubers in my niche, and I had a blast doing it. Indigo Gaming he's taking a break from it right now, but his history of cyberpunk documentary, I actually did additional writing in that video for the 3 parts that have been so far released. There's a few sections that I wrote, but mostly I was just helping hit with the wording, with the flow, and kind of offering ideas here and there. So, love the chance to collaborate with him. And, you know, if he'll have me when it's time to do part 4, I'll happily jump on and help contribute to that as well. I actually have, like I mentioned earlier, the video that I'm planning for the Halloween release, I'm collaborating with another YouTuber. I have a section there written by High Functioning Medium. I'm very excited to see how that turns out once it's all edited together with my part of the script. But as for other people that I'd love to collaborate with, I was just mentioning that Soul Porpoise is a lot smarter than I am, but every time I watch one of Soul Porpoise's videos, it challenges me to think of games in a much more rigorous way, because I really appreciate the fact that he tries to define his terms when making an argument. I don't feel that enough video essayists do that. So I'd love to have like a tete-a-tete with someone like him. But if you want to think even bigger, who would I love to collaborate with the most? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe someone like a G-Man or a Mandalore, just because I like their taste in games. It's very similar to mine, and it would be fun to kind of just talk about various games that have influenced us, or, you know, work on a project like that. But I don't know. I'm happy to kind of be involved in the circle that I'm with guys like Indigo Gaming and High Functioning Medium and Griffin Muffin and guys like that. So happy to have a chance to help make other people's videos better and work on them, and I'm happy that I have a number of people willing to help me with mine. It's a really nice feeling. What was the inspiration behind the name change? Will there actually be a cult? When can I join the cult? So, actually, very good question. Let's start with the ending. Will there actually be a cult? When can I join it? Yes, there is a cult, and you join it by clicking the subscribe button next to my videos. And you participate by viewing anything I put up on my channel. So thank you for being a member of the Cult of the CyberSkull. But what's the inspiration behind the name change? I needed a rebrand for a few reasons. For one, I'm not a particularly clever man. My internet handle was just taken because I'm a Metal Gear Solid fanboy, and I couldn't come up with any cool names. So I just added an extra K to it, just so it's, you know, not taken from somewhere else, so I could just register it. But the problem with that is that people can't spell it, and when you're trying to be discoverable, you need something that people can actually write. So I spent a month or two, maybe longer, just kind of coming up with a list of names. I wanted to get something that would still capture my taste in gothic horror and like occulty media, but also still maintain that retro synthwavy VHS aesthetic. And so I figured, okay, what if I do the whole cybernetic thing and keep like the gothic horror element of skulls and skeletons and like, oh cool, cybernetic skulls, those are rad, and then attached cult to it because it just made it sound, you know, cooler. So essentially it was just done because I wanted to be more discoverable, but I also wanted something that still reflected my personality in a lot of the games that I cover. And so that's why I'm now Cult of the CyberSkull. What is your favorite role-playing moment? Oh man. Oh boy. It's gonna sound a little odd, but I'm kind of torn between two of them. The first was probably the very first time I played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, because you boot up the game, you go into character creation, and then when that game first released was when I was just getting into tabletop role-playing games. And so I had a copy of the first edition of the Star Wars RPG, the D20 version. And so I jumped into KOTOR, and then I started building a character sheet. Just entirely based on systems that were familiar to me from reading this book. And I think that was like the moment where it kind of clicked that, oh man, like video games can be just as awesome as these tabletop games, or vice versa. And it showed me that there's a lot of translation between the two. And if it wasn't for that, then probably my favorite moment was towards the end of Planescape Torment. At the very end of Planescape Torment, and mind you, I played this before I played Fallout and before I played Deus Ex, but at the end of Planescape Torment, that was the first time I encountered an endgame boss where you can talk your way out of it. And considering how well written that game is, and how much I love, well, now 2nd edition AD&D, how much I love the Planescape setting, and how much I very much appreciate strongly written narration in video games and strong storytelling, to play a game that was so deeply rooted in this philosophical idea of change and what constitutes a person's personality, and how one's nature is affected by their understanding of reality and who they are, and to have that translate into essentially what is a debate with a final boss, really, to me, kind of showed me that games were way more than just, your typical, you come to the end and then you fight the bad guy and you win. And so that moment just kind of started making me think about games in a different light. And from there, I jumped on to your immersive sims, and I played Baldur's Gate before that, but Baldur's Gate wasn't quite as deep as Planescape in terms of narration in that same sense. But yeah, from there, it just kind of showed me that games can be so much more than just games. There are real deep storytelling aspects to some of them, and that's why I sort of look for that as much as I do in the reviews in the games that I play and the reviews that I make.